to 4. Wrapping up the big.
Keep it steady 'cause you win and you lose some. I've been running since the day I was born. I'm still working on my style and that new.
How's it going, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Broken Hearted Cast, where we talk about life, the universe, and everything between. So, yesterday, the last episode, was a little bonus episode about Bill and Ted. I wanted to go in more depth about what the movie series is and what each movie is, just in general, and how it has impacted everyone, and how it has in fact impacted me, and why every single creator there is in the world today, no matter what you create, should watch it. So go check that out. You can either pause this episode and listen to it before, or you can wait until this episode is over. So I'm also not going to be posting a episode next week in memorial of 9/11. I'm going to wait until next year, where it's the 20th anniversary, to talk more in depth about 9/11. So let's go into more in depth about what officially that we're going to be talking about this week, which is Chadwick Boseman, who sadly passed away on the 28th of August, and also just initially what killed him, which was colon cancer. So I'm going to be talking about that after the break, and right now I'm going to be talking more in depth about how he got into acting and what kind of got him noticed more in society and everything else in between. Chadwick Boseman was born on November 29th, 1976, and he was born and raised in South Carolina. He took up acting professionally after he studied directing at Howard University, which, before I go any further, I want to state that I'm reading from Wikipedia, and also be jumping back and forth between his Wikipedia and IMDb. So that, and also all the sources down below. So if you want to read along, I want to also be putting it kind of going jumping around as well. So just so you lovelies know, he began his career with guest appearances on television, and was a series regular on the short-lived Lincoln Heights that ran for 1 year, which was 2008 to 2009, and Persons Unknown, which was in 2010. Boseman's breakthrough role came as a baseball player Jackie Robinson in the biopic 42 back in 2013, which I remember clearly when that movie came out, because everyone was talking about it, and even I wanted to see that movie so badly. But back in 2013, back whenever I was a little kid, I had this initial fear of movie theaters. I don't know why. I just had a really big phobia of movie theaters. And when the movie, and when it came on DVD and Blu-ray, and I think it came out digitally later on, I still haven't watched it. I've been meaning to for so many years to actually watch it, but every single time that I get around to it, something else happens. So I might look up on Hulu and PlayStation, the digital movie store, and Netflix or wherever, just to see if I can actually find it somewhere. I think it's on HBO Max right now. I might be wrong, so don't quote me on that. He also portrayed as James Brown, which is one of my favorite singers, which was Get On Up back in 2014. And he also starred in Marshall as Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall. And Boseman achieved initial fame for playing the superhero Black Panther, which that's how I got to know him, and that's how a lot of you lovelies probably got to know him, was he played Black Panther starting in the Captain America Civil War. And I remember being in the theater and hearing the news before going there, because with every single Marvel movie and Star Wars movie, and with a lot of movies I'm actually extremely interested in, I do the stereotypical nerd where I keep up on how the production is going and who could it possibly be in it. So I remember hearing the news that Black Panther is going to be in it, and my first two thoughts was, who's gonna be playing Black Panther? And also, oh my goodness, Black Panther is finally coming into the MCU, which is the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And when the movie came out, I got 2 tickets, and my friend and I went to go see it. And it was phenomenal. His performance was, and still is, I feel like, the best portrayal of a superhero ever. And I think when Black Panther, the base movie, came out back in, when did Black Panther come out? Because I remember going to the theater like 20 times to go and see it. It came out in 2018. Yeah, I followed production with the Black Panther, and I remember going to the theater in February, and I watched it, I think, like once a week or twice a week, and I kept going back to the theater. I think it was also the same theater too that I kept going back, and like they like look at me and it's just like, it's like back again for Black Panther. I'm like, yes, of course I am. And Black Panther, I feel like, is, if not my favorite superhero movie of all time. And I love the soundtrack, I love the acting, I love the actors, and I love the story and the main purpose of the movie, and like what the message was trying to get across as well. So again, like, let's talk more about his early life now that we got the nerdy side out of the way with him playing as Black Panther. But first, he also headlined in the film 21 Bridges, which is another movie I really want to see. I think it's on Netflix or HBO Max right now, which that's another one I have to see. And he also had a supporting role in The Five Bloods, which I'm actually currently watching right now on Netflix, and his role is actually pretty phenomenal in that as well. I mean, what film has he not been in that he has been fantastic? So, and his final film, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, and it's scheduled to be released sometime. It doesn't say on the Wikipedia. So, well, let me check. It's supposed to be coming out this year, sometime this year. And let's see. I got the Wikipedia. It's Chicago, 1927. Recording session tensions rise between Ma Rainey, her ambitious horn-play and white manager determined to control the uncontrollable mother of the blues. So it's gonna be like a blues type of movie. And that's what I'm getting from the little short description. Okay, it is by Netflix. Ooh, I'm gonna definitely have to check that out. I love blues music so much, and like now, like knowing that he's gonna be in a blues movie, yes please, I want that. And especially to hear him sing again, if he does sing again in it. Yes, specifically him singing the blues, because like hearing his voice, he definitely probably has a voice for blues. And so let's go on to his alien life. So Chadwick Aaron Boseman was born and raised in Anderson, South Carolina, which I think I pass it whenever we go to Florida. So I think I know where it's at. And his parents, Caroline and Leroy Boseman, both African American. His mother was a nurse, and his father worked at a textile factory, managing an upholstery business as well. So he graduated from high school, which is the T.L. Hanna High School, in '95. In his junior year, he wrote his first play, Crossroads, staged it at the school after a classmate was shot and killed. Boseman attended college at Howard University in Washington, D.C., graduating in 2000 with a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Directing. That's pretty awesome that he actually got. So, like, I want to, like, know more of, like, was he always in acting? It doesn't say on his Wikipedia, and, like, I don't think it's also on his IMDb. I want to know more of, like, how he actually, was it from, like, a young age? He's just like, I want to do this. Okay, the the IMDb has like kind of more in depth of. So now I can actually like try to see. While he was in college at Howard University, one of his teachers was Felicia Rashad, who became a mentor. She helped raise funds, notably from her friend and prominent actor Denzel Washington, so that Boseman and some classmates could attend the Oxford Midsummer Program of the British American Drama Academy in London, to which they had been accepted. And still to this day, Denzel Washington jokes and says that he still wants his money from Chadwick, from like actually like technically paying for his tuition. They became friends, so that's like a really like, I won't like, it's a pretty cute like little tease back and forth, like I still want my money for like helping you out, man. Because I do that with my friends as well. So in his personal life, he began dating a singer back in 2015. The two reportedly got engaged in 2019, and they were later married in secret, as revealed by Boseman's family in a statement announcing his death. Boseman was raised a Christian and was baptized. He was a part of a church choir and youth group, and his former pastor said that he still kept his faith. Boseman had stated that he prayed to be the Black Panther before he was cast as that character in the MCU, which he like has been in more countless stuff and like has so many awards. Like literally, like I feel like I'm like looking at his Wikipedia right now, and the awards and nominations go from like every single year up to 2020, and out of that he has won 7 out of like the countless nominations. He also, after his death, Marvel Studios publicly announced that his role as the Black Panther would not be recast for future films, meaning that Boseman would be the one and only actor to be cast as the Black Panther, thereby canceling the previous announced Black Panther sequels, and also foreclosing the possibility of any new cast members returning the Black Panther role in future installments of the Avengers franchise, which means he will be the one and only T'Challa, as far like in possibly all of time, besides the cartoon version of him as well, which that's phenomenal. She, which I can't remember her actress's name, but she plays T'Challa's sister. She is T'Challa's sister in Black Panther, and in the comics she actually becomes Black Panther. Little fun fact, she becomes Black Panther and actually talks to T'Challa in the spirit realm. I forget what they call it. It's been so long since I've seen it, and I've seen it a lot of times. I'm just gonna call it the spirit world until I find out what initially they call it in the movie and in the comics. But yeah, no, in the comics, like, I think she talks to him after becoming the Black Panther and after he dies in the comics. In the comics, she becomes, I think, mad with power, or something along those lines. Like, she becomes kind of like the Killmonger in the comics. And it's what T'Challa, like, kind of sets you straight, like, hey, you can't do this. Or, if I'm remembering right, I could be wrong with that. And, I could be completely wrong with that she even talks with him in the spirit world. Or if he even dies in the comics so far. That's pretty much all of his life. You can read more about him and like the different quotes that he had, personal quotes. And he would have loved to play Jimi Hendrix, which I would have wished to seen him as Jimi Hendrix in the Bill and Ted movie. The guy that they got from Jimi Hendrix in the Bill and Ted Face the Music, he was good. But like now, like just reading that, like I wish I would have seen him as Jimi Hendrix. So you can read more. I have the sources down below, and you can read more in depth about what he did and what got him to his career, and more in depth about like his personal life as well, and the different films that he's been in, because I can do like probably a whole podcast episode about what movies he's been in and describing them, probably like a few episodes as a matter of fact. So after the break, I'm going to be talking about colon cancer. What initially is it, and as well as like what are the symptoms, because better be safe than sorry. That also, I will state also in the during the ad mention, go and get tested for colon cancer. Younger people now are getting colon cancer more than ever, so please go get tested. I've also lost a lot of family members from colon cancer. So let's go to the ad break and then we can go more in depth about what colon cancer actually is, symptoms, and everything in between. So take it away, me. Your favorite host, your best friend, and superhero psychic, Brandon here, and I'm just gonna like make this real quick. I'm not really gonna do any recommendations this week, like for this episode at least. The only recommendations I have is to go and watch any of his movies, and I highly recommend watching Captain America Civil War and also watching Black Panther, or watching 42 and Get On Up, or whatever movies he has been in, or shows he has been in, even the cameo ones. And go and also donate to your local cancer societies, and research different also nationwide or international cancer awareness and cancer societies to find a cure for colon cancer, because it has taken so many people. We definitely need to find a cure or more treatment for it as well, so there can be a lot more survivors. And like I said right before this, like we went into the ad dimension, I have lost a lot of family members, especially here recently, to colon cancer. And I remember the night that Chadwick passed away, because I was just on my phone right beside my bed, and I read like, yeah, he passed away from colon cancer. And that not only hit me extremely hard from like him being one of my favorite actors, but just the fact that he also passed away from colon cancer. Like a lot of my family members that I loved and I still continue to love even after their passing, that hit me extra hard, because I've seen him as like a person that I could actually sit down and actually have a cup of coffee and like have him be a part of the family. And like his acting career and like him portraying the Black Panther like has not only like made his version of the Black Panther like my favorite superhero, but just him being him, of being like an actual like pretty chill person. From what I've read and from what I've like seen either on the news or just in his Instagram, just also just in his daily routines, and from like what I heard from other people, that like he was just a very kind, loving person. And it's extremely unfortunate that he got colon cancer and passed away. It's kind of true what they say, like only the good ones die young. And then also I wanted to take this moment and say that again, there will not be another episode next week in remembrance of not only 9/11 but also all that we lost this year by itself. So next week, going to be taking a little break in remembrance to everyone. Again, I will reiterate, everyone that we lost this year, and also everyone that was lost in 9/11 as well, and just 9/11 just in general. But next year I will be covering 9/11 for the 20th anniversary, so you can wait until next year where I will go in more depth with it. Yeah, let's cut back to me talking about more what colon cancer initially is and what are the symptoms. And please do get checked, because you never know if you have it or not. So it's better to be safe than sorry. back. How you doing, lovelies? Okay, now let's get more in the depth of what colon cancer is and how it affects people, the symptoms that you may have, and everything between. So, I'm going to be reading from the Mayo Clinic. We use this for the brain aneurysm episode, the Great MRI and the brain aneurysm episode, and then also I have up the American Cancer Society, and like they actually have like a whole thing, like they have like a cancer A to Z, so you can specify like which ones you have, like which ones either you or a loved one have, or a famous person has, or everything between. And they actually have, like, if you click on a certain cancer, like they actually have like an about section. They have the causes, risk factors, prevention, early detection, treating, and after treatment. And they actually like have links, and like they don't have like it, they have like it in links, and not like here's like section by section. So it just depends on like what you want to specifically learn about, which is that's super nice to actually have it set up that way. So colon cancer is a type of cancer that begins in the large intestine, or the colon. The colon is the final part of the digestive tract. Colon cancer typically affects older adults, though it can happen at any age. It usually begins small, non-cancerous, begin clumps of cells called polypus, hopefully I'm enunciating that right, that form on the inside of the colon. Over time, some of these polyps can become colon cancers. And right before my grandma on my mom's side passed away, they actually removed a ton of the polypus, but yet she still initially died from colon cancer. There's a 50-50 chance that, from my viewpoint, that could work, and it couldn't. That could be like the final straw of like, good, we got out of your system, now you probably won't have it, to it's gonna probably come back even stronger, or it will come back and it'll be already too late to have like cure it. Polypus may be small and produce fewer, if any, symptoms. For some reason, doctors recommend regular screening tests to help prevent colon cancer by identifying and removing polypus before they turn into cancer, which that's literally what I just said. Was like, I'm pretty sure it was my grandma that had that screening done, and yet she still got it. If colon cancer develops, many treatments are available to help control it, including surgery, radiation therapy, and drug treatments such as chemotherapy, targeted therapy, and immunotherapy. Which now I'm curious about like what immunotherapy is. I think I heard of it before. I'm pretty sure I did. Colon cancer is sometimes called colorectal cancer, which is a term that combines colon cancer and rectal cancer, which begins in the rectum. Let's talk more about the different symptoms and the different causes and the different risk factors that you can have, and preventions. And so I love how the Mayo Clinic actually has it set up, where it actually like goes from symptoms to causes to risk factors. We used this website before, and so if you want to like, I'm going to be kind of skimming through it, like reading the bullet points and like reading a couple of the sentences. I might read all the paragraphs and kind of like putting it in shorthand kind of style, so you can go back. Again, the sources are down below or wherever you're listening to. So let's start off with the symptoms. Signs and symptoms of colon cancer include a persistent change in your bowel habits, including diarrhea or constipation, or a change in consistency of your stool or your poop, rectal bleeding or blood in your poop, persistent abdominal discomfort such as cramps, gas, or pain, a feeling that your bowel doesn't empty completely, weakness or fatigue, unexplained weight loss. And many people with colon cancer experience no symptoms in the early stages of the disease. When symptoms appear, they're likely vary depending on the cancer's size and location in your large intestine. When you see a doctor, if you notice any persistent symptoms that worry you, make an appointment with your doctor. Talk with your doctor about to begin colon cancer screening. Guidelines generally recommend that colon cancer screenings begin around 50. Your doctor may recommend more frequent earlier screening if you have other risk factors such as family history of the disease. So, put it in short, if it runs in your family, like I think it does with mine, and I was actually talking with my mom about it because she just had her screening, I feel like not too long ago, and so that means I'm gonna probably have to get it scanned here before too long. That, and also to be safe and sorry, I might have to like do it sooner than I kind of wanted to. So like nobody really wants to get scanned for cancer because it's that scary thing of like, what if I do have it? But it's better to be safe than sorry, especially if you catch it early on. And so yeah, let's jump into the different causes that can possibly cause colon cancer or rectal cancer. Doctors aren't really certain what causes most colon cancers. Well, that's okay. In general, colon cancer begins when healthy cells in colon develop changes, mutates in their DNA. The cell's DNA contains a set of instructions that tell a cell what to do. Healthy cells grow and divide in an orderly way to keep your body functioning normally, but when a cell's DNA is damaged, it becomes cancerous. Cells continue to divide even when new cells aren't needed. As cells accumulate, they form a tumor. With time, the cancer cells can grow to invade and destroy normal tissue nearby, and cancer cells can travel to other parts of the body to form deposits there. And I also like to state before going more forward, I am not a doctor. I will keep stating that whenever we do talk about different symptoms and like different stuff like medical terms and stuff like that, like colon cancer and brain aneurysm and stuff like that, and cerebral palsy. I am not a medical professional. I went to college again for multimedia, which is literally just radio and TV and like kind of like touching bases on everything that happens in those general areas. So I am reading from different Mayo Clinic and like different like websites, and so don't take what I read as fact. Please do your own research and like either make sure that you don't have it, or if your family member has it, please do more research. That's all I'm gonna say. Do as much research as possible as you need. So, which that's like what we just talked about, the healthy cells, and then like over time like the cancer cells like can travel to other parts of the body. That's literally what happened to my step grandma's boyfriend or life partner. He got diagnosed with colon cancer, and before too long, like it was like super quick, it traveled to other areas of his colon and I think to his kidneys, and like before too long it was too late to cure it, and he recently passed away not too long ago. I think it's been a year now, almost. It was earlier this year when he did. Please do get checked. Risk factors: older age. Again, that's what we talked about earlier. That colon cancer can be diagnosed at any age, but majority of people with colon cancer are older than 50. So if your parents or if you have a 50-plus-year-old listening to this, go and get checked out. But if you're younger than 50, still get yourself checked out, because like what they've been saying on the news and what I'm literally about to say now is that younger people are being increasingly of getting it, and even the doctors aren't really sure why, as of like when the article that's on the Mayo Clinic actually came out. Yeah, that's, please, no matter like what age you are, if you're younger, like please go and get yourself checked out. I was about to say, like, go ask your parents if you probably have those symptoms, and see if like all of you can go get checked out. Again, I'm not a professional. So Mayo Clinic also states that African Americans have a greater risk of colon cancer than do people of other races. Now I'm actually genuinely curious about why, if that's true. A personal history of colorectal cancer or polypus, which, as I stated before, a lot of my family has it and has had it, so I might also want to take the steps of actually getting checked out. before not too long. If you already had colon cancer or non-cancerous colon polyps, you have a greater risk of colon cancer in the future. Inflammatory intestinal conditions, chronic inflammatory diseases of the colon, such as sometimes medical stuff has such weird names, and I know I can't enunciate it right. So please bear with me for any of those moments where I actually have to like enunciate something that I probably am gonna completely get wrong. I'm gonna spell it out first. It's ULCERATIV colitis, which is COLITIS. So it's urocreative colitis, and Crohn's disease can increase the risk of colon cancer. And like we keep stating, it's inherited syndromes that increase colon cancer risk. Some gene mutations passed through generations of your family can increase your risk of colon cancer significantly. Only a very small percentage of colon cancers are linked to inherited genes, and most common inherited syndromes, if I can say it properly, that increase colon cancer risk are familial adenomatous polyposis, or FAP, and Lynch syndrome, which is also known as hereditary non-polyposis colorectal cancer, or HNPCC. Family history of colon cancer, which that's literally what we just stated, and a lot of it as well. You're more likely to develop colon cancer if you have a blood relative who has had the disease. If more than one family member has colon cancer or rectal cancer, your risk is even greater. And is here recently, and probably has been more than what my family talks about. I significantly know of 2 people in my family that has died from colon cancer, and one of them isn't blood related. He was my stepmom's life partner. It was her boyfriend, but they acted like they was married, and like they stated many times like they're too old to get married, but everyone treated like that they was, and even they treated like they actually was. So low fiber, high fat diet. I'm also, like before, like talking about low fiber and high fat diet. If you're listening to this, I'm like kind of making googly stuff and like trying to make as much jokes. I'm trying to do this as lightheartedly as possible, and even like talking something about something extremely serious like this. That's how, for me personally, that's how like a lot of people like try not to get down while talking about something serious. So I'm sorry if like it offends you if I make any like stuff like that. Why I talk about something serious like colon cancer or brain aneurysms or the cerebral palsy or anything like that. It's just my little defensive thing of like trying to stay on the light side of things and trying to just like talk about it as wholeheartedly as I possibly can. So I guess you can also state it as like to put it in nerdy terms, like it's kind of like the Deadpool scenario of like, yeah, he was just like really serious thing, but like, and like talking about extremely seriousness and like in it for the 100%, but it's just that defensive thing of trying to like stay positive while talking about it. And so let's continue on and talk about low fiber and high fat diet. Colon cancer and rectal cancer may be associated with a typical Western diet, which is low in fiber and high in fat and calories. Research in this area has mixed results. Some studies have found an increased risk of colon cancer in people who eat diets high in red meats and processed meat, a sedentary lifestyle. Which, for me, my diet, it can depend on the day. I don't really eat red meat, but I do eat processed meat, and like I can go from like eating chicken. I don't really eat steaks. Like I will have a steak like every once in a while. And then, like, everything else is just like, yeah, no, like, I'm gonna eat, like, a ton of chicken and, like, a ton of, like, different, like, cheeseburgers and stuff like that. But, like, I know, like, hamburgers and chicken can be processed technically as processed meat. And so, I don't know why I was gonna go with that. I was just stating my diet. That's not my full diet, just to put it out there. I actually, like, eat healthy as well. I've been actually eating healthy more than ever, especially, like, after dating Gwen for the longest time, because she actually helped me, like, realize, like, yeah, I should probably take care of my body instead of, like, damage it. So, all things to her. A sedentary lifestyle. People who are inactive are most likely to develop colon cancer. Getting regular physical activity may reduce the risk of colon cancer. So, if you are at home and you don't really do anything, you are more likely to probably get colon cancer. Especially if you don't really go out and walk. I try to go out every single day and, like, try to walk around. Or, like, even at home, like, I try to walk my new desk in my room, which I'm actually recording with it right now, can technically be turned into a standing desk. I'm actually sitting down right now just because, like, that's what I'm used to podcast-wise, is sitting down and, like, talking. But when I'm typically doing a walk or typically doing editing or, like, doing research and stuff like that, I'm standing. I'm, like, doing, like, little steps, like, walk in place or, like, run in place as I, like, do research or edit, just to, like, keep me awake and also, like, to keep active. But I also do bird watching, so that's a good physical activity as well. I do want to do a bird watching episode now I'm thinking about it. So, sorry, I'm getting distracted. Let's keep going. People with diabetes or insulin resistance have an increased risk of colon cancer. Obesity, people who are obese have an increased risk as well, and an increased risk of dying of colon cancer when compared with people considered normal weight. Again, I want to double check to make sure that that's actually accurate. If any of you lovelies, like, want to, like, go back and read the list and, like, double check with everything, because, like, there was, like, a couple so far, like, with the obesity and with the more African Americans get it. Like, I really do. Like, I might, I'm definitely gonna probably, after this episode, go back and, like, see the reasons why people that have that get it more and can die from it more. Up next is smoking. People who smoke also may have a increased risk. That's kind of a given as well, because smoking is terrible and not good for you. And same with alcohol. Heavy alcohol increases your risk of colon cancer, which, thank goodness, I stopped really drinking heavily. I didn't really drink heavily to begin with, so I don't know why I stated that. I drink occasionally, specifically whenever I go to Disney's Galaxy's Edge. And go to the Irish Festival. That's, like, kind of the only times I kind of drink heavily. Is either, that's kind of a weird thing to say, but, like, yeah, either at Galaxy's Edge or, like, at the Irish Festival. And even then, like, at Galaxy's Edge, I have, like, 2 to 3 or 4 drinks. And then, like, at the Irish Festival, like, I typically mix Guinness and Wendy's Frosty, chocolate Frosty, and that probably sounds disgusting. Try it. Up next and lastly with the risk factors, radiation therapy for cancer. Yes, radiation therapy for cancer can be directed at the abdomen to treat previous cancers, but it can also increase the risk of colon cancer. So it's like a flip of a coin, basically. Like I said earlier, like, it's a 50-50 chance. You could be trying to prevent or get rid of another previous cancer, but you could also increase your risk. Preventions, like what I was talking about earlier, go and see your doctor regularly about especially if you are around 50, and do multiple screenings to make sure that you don't get it, and go check back with your doctor regularly. Change your lifestyle. And to reduce your risk of colon cancer, eat a variety of fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. Drink alcohol in moderation, if at all. So that's I'm doing properly. And stop smoking. Talk to your doctor about ways to quit that may work for you. Vaping can also increase, that's what I'm assuming as well, because you do smoke vapes. That's what vaping is, even though they put it in different terms. Still, stop smoking, because it also could increase your risk as well. Exercise most days of the week. Try to get at least 30 minutes of exercise, which I try to do on most days. If you've been inactive, start slowly to build up gradually to 30 minutes. Also talk to your doctor before starting any exercise programs. I already do like little exercise stuff. I try walking. I even know it's in my name. My last name is Walker, just in case people didn't know. So, no pun intended, I do try to walk every single day. Even if like I have to like walk in the house or like anything else like that. Or like walk in place, I just try to. So I guess that also like I have to watch which tracks all my progress. So and it gets mad at me if I don't like do any activity for like long periods of time. There'll be like countless days, like even like whenever like we were still back at the office, like when my watch would go off constantly while we was recording, like, hey, go and stand up. You haven't stood up in like 2 hours. Like, what's going on? So yeah, ever since then, like I've been trying to exercise. So maintain a healthy weight. If you're at a healthy weight, to maintain your weight by combining a healthy diet with the exercise. If you lose the weight, if you need to lose the weight, ask your doctor about healthy ways to achieve your goal. Aim to lose weight slowly by increasing the amount of exercise you get, reducing the number of calories you eat. With me being younger, I was like on, I guess you can say like the bare minimum of like almost being anorexic. I was at, I think 120 or like 130, or like kind of, I was like around that ballpark of like, I think like around like 110 to like 130. And I went to the doctor here recently because like of my license. I have to get checked up by the doctor regularly, like either once a year or like every 6 months. And the nurse like told me like, yeah, you can go up on the weight. I was like preparing for like it was gonna say like 130 or like something in between, and she said, oh, you're 150. It's like, and that was like a big like sigh of relief for me. It's just like finally I'm at my perfect, like at my like a good weight for me physically, of being like almost a 6 foot person, a 6'2" person. So lastly, colon cancer prevention for people with high risk. Some medications have been found to reduce the risk of precancerous polypus or colon cancer. For instance, some evidence links to reduced risk of polypus. Again, hopefully I'm enunciating it right. And colon cancer to regular use of aspirin or aspirin-like drugs, but it's not clear what dose or what length of time would be needed to reduce the risk of colon cancer. Taking aspirin daily has some risks, including gastrointestinal bleeding or ulcers. It's ULCERS. Again, hopefully I'm not saying it right. These options are generally reserved for people with high risk of colon cancer. There isn't enough evidence to recommend these medications to people who have an average risk of colon cancer. If you have an increased risk of colon cancer, discuss your risk factors with your doctor. Determine whether preventive medications are safe for you. And you can actually go on the Mayo Clinic website and see what other cares that they have if you do end up having colon cancer or colonial cancer. And I'm not going to read from the American Cancer Society because I feel like that they kind of going to state the same things. They are, but they like put it in like the weird kind of format. So of like risk factors and early detection. But like then they have like, I clicked on the early detection, diagnosis, and staging, and then they gave me like some like 3 boxes with detection, diagnosis, stages, and outlook, and questions to ask about your colon cancer. And then like it gave me like a ton of different links to like just like different stuff to read more. So I'm gonna leave it down in the sources below if lovelies want to like go in more depth about what colon cancer is and everything. So yeah, I think that's about it. Again, go check out whatever movie you are interested in seeing from Chadwick. Again, like, he has been one of my favorite actors ever since I seen him back in 2016, 2015, whenever Captain America Civil War came out. And I'm still gonna probably continue watching his movies, probably up until I die. And yeah, also go and get tested for colon cancer even if you are probably not at the risk, still rather get checked than safely sorry. So again, I've been Ben and this has been Broken Heart Cast. Also, remember, just a reminder, next week there will be no episode out of respect of everyone that we had lost over the year, and also all the people that we lost in 9/11. So, but next year for the 20th anniversary, I will be doing a coverage of 9/11, like what started it, what happened during that day, and what I was doing that day. Because like I've heard because I remember one thing, but I also remember like my mom telling me another thing. So, well, I can just say it real quick. During 9/11, from what I remembered, I was at preschool, and like the teachers, the quote-unquote teachers, was like gathered around, I think, like the TV or the radio, and listening to it. My mom says, which is probably the true story of it, she was taking me to preschool when it happened. Still not really sure which one's the true story. Probably my mom's, most likely. But yeah, again, I hope you lovelies have a wonderful day, whatever you're listening this to, and please get checked for colon cancer. Even, like I said, younger people like me are getting into the higher risk of actually getting it. Better be safe than sorry. And go and also donate to any of the cancer societies that you are most comfortable, even if you don't have the money, still either to something to raise awareness of colon cancer. And yeah, no matter who you are, no matter what you are, no matter what you do, love and respect yourself, also love and respect others. And yeah, next time on the podcast.